Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Out of the Shadows podcast. How we usually do this, we usually have Kentucky Corey, Bigfoot Brad, Ruthless, and Miss Wolf Party. But tonight, I'm flying solo to bring you a special report about what you may have seen on social media recently, may it be Twitter or Facebook or anything else. You might have seen it on YouTube. It's in regards to what today is, September 23rd, 2015, the Day of Atonement, as it's being called. Basically, if you haven't heard the story, it is, today is more or less Judgment Day in the Hebrew religion. It only happens once every, I think, 70 years. This is the Day of Jubilee, supposedly. And what it all amounts to is Christ is supposed to come down and judge everybody. I know it probably sounds a little familiar with the whole rapture a few years back, the Mayan doomsday calendar of 2012. But what's interesting about this is if you notice a particular pattern with 9/11, there were certain almost hints given away in TV shows and movies and music that were all too almost coincidental when it came to 9/11. There was hints everywhere. And if it's one thing that I have noticed, I can't really speak for everybody else, but whenever the government is about to hatch something big involving a nationwide tragedy or maybe even a worldwide tragedy, they will subtly hint at things using their resources of music, of movies, TV shows, etc., etc. So there's been countless different references to September 23rd, dating all the way back to Little Shop of Horrors in the 80s, all the way to recently Tomorrowland, which was, I think, came out this year, if not last year, that pinpoint September 23rd and 24th. So it's almost like it's the day of the tragedy and also the day after, which may be the aftermath of it all. It's very, very interesting the amount of references given. And normally, for me, I don't pay attention to that all that often. But it's kind of made me stop and wonder with that many things. It's the whole, UFO theory. Well, if so many people are talking about it over so many amount of years, you kind of got to stop and think to yourself, what if? Today could come and go with nothing happening at all, with no tragedy to be reported, no tragedy to happen, like every other day that people have been up in arms and worried about. But also, what if something happens today? Then everything that you probably once thought of has just passe, has not paying attention to it, has just people freaking out for no reason whatsoever. If something does happen today, that'll completely disintegrate their whole fabric of that. It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, more or less. People get it wrong so many fucking times. But what happens if it is presented right in front of your face and something does happen? Well, it's time to reassess what you fucking think of. Few theories I'm going to throw around that people have come up with is a meteor is going to come and hit the Earth somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean area. I've heard as far as Venezuela and as close as Puerto Rico. Um, that seems to be the most popular theory. I don't necessarily believe it, more or less, because then the CIA and the U.S. government could not come in and reassess everything, rebuild everything in their particular manner of operations. This is just, if a comet hits, it's too out of their control. They wouldn't be able to swoop in and completely redesign everything, whether it be laws or a central world order, a new world order. It would just be chaos. It's not within their control. Another, of course, theory is, and I can kind of see this, is a false flag terrorist attack, similar to 9/11. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to say as to whether or not I support the theory of 9/11 being an inside job. But there have been a few instances where, clear as day, if you look at the evidence, things are not as they were presented to the media. Tragedies were nothing more than a controlled chaos false flag scenario by the government. And I think this could also be one of those instances. It's very plausible that they could orchestrate what they say is an attack from one of our enemies, may it be Russia or North Korea or anybody else that we have butted heads with in the past. It's totally plausible that this could happen, and then the media make it seem like it was a terrorist attack from one of our enemies. This, of course, could boost us into a World War III. Definitely a war where all of our allies are paired up with us, lines are drawn in the sand, and bombs are flying like motherfucking bombs over Baghdad from Outcast. That's totally plausible. Another scenario, which is totally believable when I think about it, is the Hadron Collider in, I think, Geneva, Switzerland, called CERN Foundation, a organization of engineers who are basically trying to bend time and space. They're trying to open up doorways to other dimensions. They're trying to basically find the God particle, which is the foundation of glue that holds us all together. There's basically, the way I can explain it is, there's this world you see in front of us, filled with people and animals and cars and trees, everything that your physical eye can see. And then there's a world where there's things that you can't see, the spirit world. We are made up of matter. That world is made up of antimatter. They are basically finding ways to extract antimatter through all these scientific breakthroughs of colliding atoms and particles at the speed of light, trying basically to bend time and space, to open up doorways to another dimension, to other dimensions, and through space and time. A lot of faults can come with this. They can open up a dimension and bring some shit through that we only have thought of in our most fucked up, vivid nightmares. Or they could create a small black hole. And of course, with black holes, it sucks everything the fuck up. From the smallest black hole to the largest black hole, it still has the capacity to suck up Earth. If not Earth, and suck up a good portion of our planet. It'll definitely do some damage. Of course, from what everybody has gathered online and the consistencies that they've found, the clues that they've found and hints through everything, it's supposed to happen midday. Whatever is supposed to happen is supposed to happen around midday, which sucks because I gotta go to work today, and I really don't want to spend my last day on Earth, if it is to become that, getting sucked up in a black hole on the expressway in fucking traffic, or seeing a comet strike and a giant tidal wave coming, or volcanoes exploding and taking out fucking half the US. I definitely don't want my last days on Earth to be en route to work or at work. I'd much rather be at home, having a beer, watching TV, being with my family. That sounds a lot better. But like I said, nothing is for certain. Even our own inevitable demise. This could come and go like 2012, like 6606, like the rapture. It could just be another day, like Y2K. Everybody tends to come up with one particular scenario with loosely based ideas and run with it. And then when that day comes and goes, they try to find some plausible explanation as to why it didn't happen. And then later on down the road, there's another day that they come up with and they freak out about. But I could be right. Nothing could happen. I could be wrong, and something could happen. Either way, folks, pay attention to the skies. Pay attention to the media. But do not fucking believe it hand and foot. And definitely pay attention to your surroundings. This is Wolf Party, and I will keep you posted with any other further developments. Thank you and good night.